Hey, what's happening YouTube? Hope you guys are well today. Welcome to the video. It's Saturday, November 7th. I just wanted to pop out a video for you guys. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things and show you one trade from Thursday that I took on the NASDAQ, and I think this was a demo trade, to be honest. This is what I've been doing this week, switching between live and demo, because in scalping, there's certain things that can happen. Like when you're trading a certain thing and you notice something is starting to work, normally you can find sometimes that you can repeat the same trade a number of times and it'll work continuously. And honestly, when you find that, you just continue doing it. So that's sort of something I was trying to do this week, is like trade in the demo account until I can see something's working a little bit, and then I'll just switch over and maybe take a trade in the live account and do the same thing. And again, it's very subjective. It depends on a lot of things. So this week was a little bit tough, and I want to talk about a few things that made it tough and a few realizations I'm making in general. So you're looking at a recording on my screen here from Thursday, November 5th. One thing I'm going to say, first of all, is that I am often distracted from reading the inside print of the market. So what's the inside print? This is the inside print right here, okay? So we have how many contracts sold at that price, how many contracts bought at that price. That's the inside print of the market we're looking at. And this is what I always fail to keep my eyes on. My eyes are always drifting around. It was actually funny, a friend of mine made a suggestion. He said you should get one of those eye tracker devices that shows where your eyes are looking on the screen, and then it'll make a viral YouTube video. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's a real thing, or do you think that you're gonna steal that idea now? Basically, in regards to reading the tape, your eyes have to stay on the inside print like 90% of the time. And what often happens to me is my eyes are drifting towards my charts on my other monitor. So part of this has been trying to keep my attention on the inside print as much as possible. And it's not very fun to like stare at numbers printing on a screen. Nobody said it was ever going to be fun. It's not supposed to be fun. If you want to get a good idea of the buyers and sellers in the market and the balance, you need to look at the inside print. You're not going to see that on the chart. You can just see the up and down moves on the chart. You can get your levels and everything from your market profile and the other things that we use to give context to our market. But when you're sitting there, looking for that confirmation to enter a trade, if you're going to go short, you need sellers to be in control. And depending on where you focus your attention in trading, it's easy to distract yourself from certain things. So like, let's say you playbook a certain setup and you say, okay, there's a certain setup I have that the market has a bear bias. We might be one time framing down on a 30-minute. I'm looking to go short, but at the same time, if I'm watching the pullback and the sellers start drying up near the bottom of the pullback, then why are you going to go short if there's no sellers showing up? Okay, so you need to see these guys, hitting in. You need to see that imbalance hitting into the market to prove that there's an edge taking that trade or not, all right? And that's where you just have to get your priorities in order, right? So what's the purpose here? Your purpose is to be consistent and make consistent, trades, profitable trades. So how are you going to do that? You're going to do that by focusing your priorities in the right places. So guys, anything that's in your field of view that is distracting you, it could be your chat, it could be your chart, it could be anything, it could be your cell phone, it could be anything on your desk. For me, at least, I'm speaking from my own perspective, then it's not helping your trading. So that's the story. All right, so let's get over to the trade that I was scouting. So basically, this was Thursday afternoon and there was the FOMC. So I was listening to Jerome Powell talking, and I'm not much of an economist, so I don't know much about what he's saying, but really what I was looking at is the reaction of the market. And there was some reactions. We had this sort of bullish run to take out the highs, and then we sold off, sellers to control that move. So now basically, I'm watching the previous supply zone in the market, which would have been between the 1293 to the 1286 area. So this area for me, if the bulls couldn't hold it, the sellers are probably going to take advantage of the market. But again, this took a while to play out. And I found myself taking a few early trades, like you saw a couple of them earlier in the session there. So you're going to see here we moved to take out the highs, and then let's continue to watch here. So basically at this point, I've been watching this market for a solid, half an hour. I'm seeing the larger context. So on this chart, you can't see the context. I'm basically looking for a down move to take out these lows pretty much if we start holding these offers around this 93 to 86 general area. Okay, so as the price action develops, let's keep going here. And you're going to see that the sellers start to take control slowly. And, this is always a tricky thing, because when the sellers are selling, they will do things that make it look like the market is strong. Like, so they will sell it all the way down to the bottom of the range and then all of a sudden lift all the offers, and then the thing just lifted 10 points just to take out any stops. And that's something that they have the capacity to do. And that's unfortunately something that's really annoying for, you know, shorter term traders or traders that are trying to get into a move. They have to deal with this kind of whipsaw action because, you know, that's how the nature of the market is. So in this case, you saw that we had a down move and then immediately 15 seconds after lifted the offer. I'll show you another example of that if we keep going. So here's when we start to see another down move and we're starting to take out this range here. All right, so this is basically when I started to get interested in the short. When I started to see the sellers sort of take control, and I saw these rallies, pretty weak rallies in fact, and I'm seeing this sort of idea. Now this is an idea, I love to see this when we're testing prices, crucial prices that one side of the market needs to hold, and we're seeing what could be called a counter trend signal. In this case, you know, I'm looking for 93 to 96 to hold on the offers, all right? And I'm seeing this sort of idea where we have a pullback and an immediate rally back up. And again, it's important to watch this. So watch exactly how this thing moves down, and we'll watch that together. And keep an eye on the inside print, because that's what I keep saying. Keep an eye on the inside print. And we're seeing a slight imbalance to the sell side, if you look very briefly. Down to about 86. Now watch how they lift the offer here in one shot. So watch this. So it just lifted from 83 to 90 on pretty much nothing. And that's the kind of offer lifting or short covering that I'm talking about. So again, we lift again up to 93, but there's really no size trading into that. So that's just a sign that the offer is being pulled. There's no size trading into that. And sometimes you'll see a small amount of contracts trading in there, buyers thinking that this is a sort of reversal pattern, but in reality, this is just something that can be, you know, deceiving to the large amount of newer traders. So you can see that we easily fade back down from this move. And I'll fast forward it a little bit here. This is where I start to get interested in the short. So I got in at 88.25, probably a bit of an impulsive fill. And I think I just got in because I felt like getting in. I didn't see anything notable on the tape that necessarily told me you need to sell right now at this price. So you're gonna see here, we see some sellers. We still have a slight imbalance to the sell side. And look at how I fill this order. There was nothing really telling me to go short here other than the larger perspective that I was looking at, in fact. So what you're going to see here is that more buyers come in against here. So the seller's kind of dry, and then we're sort of doing the same thing where the seller's kind of let up from their selling for a little bit, and you can see the offer starting to lift here. We're taking out a few buy stops. And basically, you can see how that stopped there at 98, and you're going to see the stop pretty much almost get hit. And what's really interesting, and if you ever get yourself into a position like this where, you know, you take a position and then your stop, you know, gets missed by 1 or 3 ticks, in the case of the NASDAQ, you need to stay in that trade. Because if it's going onside after it missed your stop by 3 ticks and now you're onside and you're getting the move you're looking for, stay in that trade, and you should probably even widen your profit target depending on the context, obviously. So in this case, again, you can't really see the entire context of what was happening in the larger perspective of this price action, but I'm basically looking for a move all the way down under 70, and we get it after what just happened. So it pretty much ticked up there, missed my stop by 3 ticks, and now just watch closely and you're going to start to see these sellers take advantage of this market here. So again, we're seeing buyers and we're not going up. That's a bad sign for buyers. Sorry for the DOMs not being aligned there for a second. Sometimes it's tricky to keep them aligned. Again, this is just some chop here. We're trading at 91. But again, as long as it's holding below 94, I'm still comfortable staying in this trade generally. So I'm looking for the sellers to take advantage of this, and they start to take advantage of it. You can see there's a little bit of an imbalance there. We're going down on sellers at this point. That's what I'm looking to continue to see at this point to confirm that this bias is correct. So we see that easily those bids getting taken out, huge sell imbalance, and then boom, that's the thing I'm talking about, where the offer just lifts right back up and we take out any buy stops, any break evens or buy stops. And this move has been happening so often lately. And again, I'll say it in the context of where the market is, you know, one time framing, or your bias is on one side of the market and you see a counter trend signal, you use the counter trend signal to get on board with that trade if you're not already on board with it. So look at how we rally back up. Sellers are immediately attacking it again. We tried for 85 and they were on board to attack it. Watch 86, try it, and then immediately back down 4 or 5 points. So that's not a sign of strength, okay? So watch the continued selling imbalance on the sell side. You know, and you can scalp this. This could be a scalp, you know, scalp and profit target right under the low. But at this point, we're looking for a slightly larger move. But you could, you know, scale out. That would be a comfortable target. You know, keep your limit right under these lows here. As these longs who thought this was a long are getting stopped out of their positions, you know, you're taking profit in that favor, right? So you're going to see some noise here. I'm kind of messing with the dome, putting in orders and stuff. But I really should have been focusing on this inside print. And again, just now, as I was telling you that, my eyes were wandering. So again, this is a bad habit I'm trying to get out of my system. So we're still seeing a bit of a sell imbalance here. Just look at that briefly and you can see it. So there we go, more bids popping and we've taken out the low. And at this point, I think I got slightly a little bit too greedy. And this is where it gets sort of complicated. So you have to be a little bit discretionary at certain times when you're trading, because essentially you're trading discretionary. So everything about your system, you know, is discretionary from the entry to the profit taking. So at this point, I'm saying, all right, there's probably a high probability we're going to go take out the low around 63, I believe it was. So I had a profit target under 62. But what I really had to be paying more attention to was how the imbalances were developing down here now under the 60 zone. So watch closely and you can see how now there's some buyers starting to get interested and the sellers are not as aggressive as they previously were. We're seeing one of these rallies again. So watch the sellers answer to that. We see some more selling. We're trading into the high 60s here. And this was a live trade, by the way. And yeah, you can see that limit's down there at 62, but the sellers are not nearly as strong as they were before. So they're kind of drying up at this point. They're kind of undecided. So when you see indecision, you know, that's a sign that you probably want to get out or take profit or take the most of your position off. So that right there was a sign of indecision, and that's why I decided to cut it right there. So I got filled at 68.50. And you know, if you fast forward, probably we did move higher after that. But again, hindsight, but still, right? So I saw indecision on the tape, so that's kind of the signal that told me to get out, and you know, that was the end of the story. And after that, we did test the low another time, but that's a completely different setup. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for today, Saturday, guys. You know, that's a little bit of tape reading exercise for you. There's not a lot of content like this on YouTube, so if you appreciate the content, guys, leave a like on the video, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.